Do I even want to ask what you're doing? I'm organizing the eventual fight card for when the Preds and the Wild face off at WrestleMania. Okay. Against my better judgment, humor me. What do you have so far? Thank you for asking, Johnny. Well, of course I've got Gustafson and Saros because everyone loves a goalie fight. And Carrier and Kaprizov, that's got to be a cage fight. And, when do I insert the Dallas Stars coming in from the stands a la the Shield? Everybody's hands go up, way up, as the Nashville Predators defeat the Minnesota Wild by a final score of, yeah, you got to use two hands, 6-1, Thursday night inside Bridgestone Arena. Roman Josi got 2 goals and 1 assist. Fan favorite Cole Smith would score the eventual game-winning goal. And you see, Saros, maybe he's not going to get traded after all, made 33 saves as the Nashville Predators extended their season-high win streak to 7 games. Just 21 games left to go. Preds playing the second of this 5-game homestand, their 3rd game of the season against the Wild. The first 2 previous matchups were won by the road team in both affairs. It's Alexander Carey's 200th game. By the end of this one, hey Kaprizov, you can take this and put it in your pipe and smoke it. And well, with reports out there on the trade market and with Carrier being an unrestricted free agent in the offseason, he might not be a Predator much longer, so let's enjoy him while we have him. Preds with the edge early in shots, picking up where they left off in the 3rd period against Ottawa, but they're not able to score just yet. Forsberg mishandles a great pass to him that would have sent him in all alone on Gustafson. Oh, that first goal would have been nice just there. And Forsberg would really be kicking himself on the bench just about a minute later when Connor Dewar scores his 4th of the season against the Preds, opening the scoring for the Wild. But never you fret, Preds Nation, because this team is just heating up right now, much less in this game. 50-something seconds after Dewar opened the scoring for the Wild, you've got the Preds going into the Wild zone. Here's the captain, Roman Josi, after the great game that he had on Tuesday, and he's able to skate in, not much pressure on him, as he just lets the puck go backhand on net with Wild defenders there, but somehow, the Yakov Trennan is able to deflect it into the net, past Gustafson, and just like that, Wild lead is done. Preds have tied this game at 1. Don't sit down just then, Preds Nation, because for the 3rd time in franchise history, this team is going to score 2 goals in less than 8 seconds. As the Preds win the faceoff, they go in the zone. Cole Smith steals it. Yes, fan favorite Cole Smith. He would get the game-winning goal in this game, amazingly, as he steals the puck, works his way in, beats Gustafson, and just like that, Preds go from trailing 1-0 to up 2-1. Wild, to their credit at this point, do not back down. They're giving the Preds a fight on the ice for the puck, and we'll eventually see fights between players on both sides of the ice. Under a minute left to go. Preds with the lead on the scoreboard and the edge in shots. You've got a great steal by Keith Sherwood, who gets it out to Yakov Trennan to try and give the Preds a 2-goal lead, but he's robbed by Gustafson. Final seconds tick down. The horn goes to sound the first intermission. The Preds may have given up the first goal of the game, the first time they did that since they got blown out by Dallas, but the important thing is they didn't lay down like they did against Dallas. They got up off the mat and they lead Minnesota 2-1 after 1. Highlight early in the 2nd period is Marcus Johansson being robbed by UC Saros when Johansson had a wide open net to tie this game up at 2. 5.5 minutes into the 2nd period, there's a mad scramble in front of Saros. Saros scrambling for the puck. Finally, there's a whistle, but the Wild are still whacking away as the Preds defenders on the ice have enough. Ensuing Donnybrook, if this was a wrestling ring, chairs would have been thrown around. These two teams do not like each other. Could you imagine these two teams finally meet in the playoffs? It probably won't happen this year because one of these teams, hopefully the Wild, get left on the outside looking in. But the day it finally happens, it's going to be good TV. Out of that fracas, you got Zach Bogosian and Ryan O'Reilly, who go off both for roughing, and then shortly after, when those teams are playing 4-on-4, Marcus Johansson goes off, putting the Preds on a short 4-on-3 power play, more open ice. But unfortunately, on the 4-on-3 and then the ensuing 5-on-4, when Bogosian and Ryan O'Reilly return the ice, the Preds can't extend their lead. Later, Carey goes off for holding, and the Wild really don't pose a threat until late in the power play, but the Preds ultimately kill off that one too. Ups to the Preds ultimately for killing off all 3 Wild power plays in this game. After another post-whistle scuffle, with about 7 minutes left to go in the second period, the referees put these teams at 4-on-4 again. Tempers would boil over about a minute into the 4-on-4 as Jake Middleton for the Wild and Jeremy Lauzon for the Preds get into a scuffle. Lauzon appears to be worse for the wear out of the fight. Middleton goes to the Wild penalty box. Lauzon would return but would go to the Preds locker room to be cleaned up, but his Preds teammates appreciate him standing up for them. Something that the Preds can work on for the final stretch here is Phil Forsberg, for example, gets called for careless use of his stick for slashing. Fortunately, his Preds teammates come to his defense and kill off another Wild power play. Under 3 minutes left to go in the third period, the Preds on the power play again, just about 30 seconds into the man advantage. Phil Forsberg at the point gets it over to Roman Josi, who carries it over, gets some attention drawn to him so he can allow his teammate to get a wide open lane, so he sends it back to Philip Forsberg, no man around him, so he winds up and lets it go past Gustafsson. It beats him. Preds have some cushion, up 3-1. Philip Forsberg's 29th goal of the season, alas, on February 29th. Philip Forsberg, 1 goal away from another 30-goal season. Only other moment of note before the second intermission horn is scuffle in front of the Wild bench. Cody Glass is on the ice. He's fair play for any Wild player on the ice. Brock Faber, sitting on the Wild bench, gets a shot on him. Refs don't call it. Amazingly, they're letting a lot of stuff go in this game. Nothing else happens from that moment. Final horn for the second period sounds. Preds with a little bit of cushion, up 3-1. During the intermission on Twitter, some of us in Preds Nation were discussing the fact that the Preds had to play their aggressive forechecking game to make sure the Wild didn't get back into it. Against a team like this, you don't let them use their physicality and let them put you into penalty trouble, because that is how, down the stretch, you may lose games if you play undisciplined. If you play forechecking, you don't let yourself get baited, you're going to win more games than you lose. As for what I just said, that us in Preds Nation were fearing at the second intermission, forget all that, because the captain would answer the bell again. Play is in the Wild zone. You've got the captain, number 59, Roman Josi, pinching in. He gets the puck. He gets in down low. Gustafsson is a little further out from his post than you think he'd want to be, so Josi proceeds to bang the puck in. It goes in. Preds now seem to be rolling up 4-1. Drink up, Preds Nation. 7 straight games, 7 straight tickets stamped to go get a Frosty. Preds able to stamp out any Wild comeback, it would seem, when Carey went off for holding Eriksson Ek. And then the icing on the cake would happen about 9 minutes into the final frame. Preds in the Wild zone again. Gustav Nyquist, no look behind the back. Backhand pass to Ryan O'Reilly, who one time snaps it past Gustafsson. His 21st of the season. It seems like forever since Ryan O'Reilly has scored. Thank you, buddy, for showing up to help the domination in this game. The Preds, clearly the better team now. We can all breathe a sigh of relief that we weren't going to get baited into a physical game in a third. Preds up 5-1. Preds keeping their foot on the accelerator, not letting the Wild get any sniff of a comeback in this game. And with 6 minutes left to go in regulation, Ryan McDonough with the exclamation point, his third of the season, makes it 6-1 Preds. This game is no longer in doubt. Preds cruise to victory in this one, winning their 7th game in a row. Final 6-1. Boys, I hope you saved some in the tank for the Avs on Saturday. For the 2nd straight game, this team's best period of the game was clearly the 3rd period. Preds didn't turtle. They kept their foot on the gas. They made their opponent seemingly beg for mercy to let them out of the hockey game. Minnesota Wild fans, if you're watching to this point in the fan reaction video, I may not like your team, but that's natural. You're a division rival. But all respect to you, honest Wild fan, like me, honest Preds fan, but we kind of warned you. Welcome to John Hines hockey deep in a hockey season when it becomes boring and hard to see them score goals deep in a season. As for the Preds, come back from a dominating road trip, 2 games into this homestand, 2 dominating wins. I'm certainly glad you guys took care of your own business and beat Minnesota in regulation, because they are behind you, because you got no help on the out-of-town scoreboard in any other major game. Maybe Boston beating Vegas, because that keeps Vegas within reach in case they fall into the wild card. But LA beat Vancouver, and Seattle, yeah, they're still behind you, but they beat Pittsburgh. Now comes the measuring stick game that I alluded to after Tuesday's fan reaction video that I can clearly say the name to. Colorado comes to town on Saturday. The last time they were in Nashville, they blew a 3-2 lead and lost in regulation. You know they're going to want a measure of revenge. So you're going to have to bring even a better effort than you did against Minnesota against them on Saturday. They're above you in the standings after all. Note the start time. It's an early one, 5 o'clock local in Nashville Central Time. And hey, this could very well be a playoff preview, assuming the Preds make it into the 2nd season, so that should make for a spirited affair. As for this roster, there are now 8 days left to go until the NHL trade deadline. The Preds have 3 more games left until that deadline. I know some of you may have heard the report that Saros is officially off the market, seemingly because the Preds appear to be a playoff contender. I don't know if those reports are true. That could be gamesmanship by Trotzy to try and drive up the price. What I do know and am hoping for is that General Manager Barry Trotz is still fielding calls from other general managers, because I, for one, am not going to be too happy if all 3, Yakov Trenin, Tommy Novak, and Alexander Carey, all soon to be unrestricted free agents this summer, are all still on the roster come March 8th without anything being put in the cupboard for the future. So that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click a like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media and interact with me during every Preds game by clicking on a channel name. Tell all your friends about Redemption, and ask those same friends if they haven't figured it out yet, are the Preds a wagon?